Everybody, we're humming day. It's Friday, and well, we're not playing Mario. We're playing the Publishers. We're just still doing this. So, last time we started off the 4th episode, Turnabout Succession, and we did the investigation because apparently I keep forgetting that the investigations are very long episodes. Apparently now, but we are now on the trial section of this episode. So let us get into it. Turnabout Succession trial day 1. And let's just get going. October 8th, 9:48 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 6. Good morning. So you're Farah, right? I'm Tracy. Tracy Wright. That's right with a W, but not right, right? How many times? Oh. We're on your side. You can tell us anything, please. Good morning. She speaks! Alright. Not bad, not bad. But I think you do better with a little smile, you know? You're so pretty. You need to sell yourself, you know. Tracy, let's take it easy for starters. Thank you for taking my kiss. Here's a smiley face. Okay. Well, that's a start, I guess. Alright, so. There she goes with the nail polish again. That's great, really. It's so cultured. Want to try? Oh, really? Girls. The victim, Drew Meacham, was a forger. A stone painting was found in the studio. I'll have a crime, really. And maybe one that left to his death. October 8th, 10 a.m. District Court, Defendant Courtroom number 3. Sorry. Well, you and I, begin the, trial of our mission. Is the judge okay? His voice is all raspy, and he's looking all around, all nervous like. Repercussion of today's trial will most likely be felt for a long time, and may indeed alter our legal system forever. Today is the test of the justice system. And the first step towards a new order in our courts. That is the mission. The jurors will function like a jury. It is hoped their inclusion will help the courts to better reflect the people's will. Why aren't there any jurists in the courtroom? 3 closed circuits cameras watch this courtroom at all times. The jurors have access to everything that transpires. Jurist! Judge well and judge cool. No, see here, Prosecutor Gavin. I was going to say that. Ah, my apologies, Herr Judge. Jurors today, they shall coolly, if you would be so kind. Jurors are unbound by the letter of the law. They don't affect the trial of evidence. It's like, they don't affect the trial of evidence, but by their feelings. We're but to find out just what effect they're going to have. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. The details of the case, if you would. The victim is the painter Drew Mishim. He was killed in his own studio. His hobby was poisoned. By whom, you ask? None other than the defendant, Baron Mishim. There wasn't any poison in the coffee. Achoo! Someone has been doing their homework. Indeed, poison was not present in the coffee, but on the mug itself. The mug! Ah, residuals were found on the rim, I see. The autopsy reports describes the manner of our victim's death. Of course, sepsis is evidence. Museum's autopsy report, medical records. Death by atrium poisoning, estimated time of death 9 to 9:30 p.m. According to this report, the victim's death was caused by quinine poisoning. The chemical component that does not occur naturally. Lethal doses is a mere 0.002 mg. A touch of atriquarine in the body is the touch of the reefer's scythe. Very well, Prosecutor Gavin. You may present your witness. Sorry. I have for you today a simple man for a simple case. A man who witnessed the murder in its entirety. That journalist, no doubt. The witness will state his name and occupation. Ah, right. Well, for starters, my name's Spark or Purcell. My job is lunar server of the world. In other words, a freelance journalist, right? Ahem. If you don't mind, I'd like to say something here for the record. Yes, Mr. Purcell? I dislike conclusions, specifically the aspect of jumping to conclusions. Pro-conception makes park sandboxes of endless desert waste. End quote. But you are a journalist. You said so yourself yesterday. Well, that's true, yes. But you must understand that I stand before you today as a man with a dream. Sorry. I'm reviewing my testimony. I'm reviewing my testimony in exchange for exclusive rights to the story. Script turns Mr. Purcell into top Mr. Purcell. End quote. Let's hear testimony then, shall we? A simple kiss, Gavin. For me, the jury is still out. Literally. The journalist story. I visited the studio around 9 that night to do an interview. The first I started, entered the atelier. Journalistic history made, end quote. His starter brought us coffee right after we started. You know what happened next? Stars fall, and Star falls, end quote. No one else entered the room besides her the whole time. That does sound like a simple case. Unless you were the one who poisoned him. What? What are you saying, Judge? Never mind, Drew. The cameras are rolling today. I feel the need to be a bit dramatic. You didn't do it, did you? Me do a thing like that? Come on, that's like newsmaker makes the news. End quote. Making the news. End quote. Or even contemporary witch hunt, end quote. I know, wild accusations, rock courtroom, end quote. Rock indeed. Oscar Goblin sure looks like he's having fun. I'm so happy for him. Well, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination, please. Alright. Hold it! 9 at night? It's not a little late for an interview. If the Great Painter's ruined mission says come at 9, believe you me, I go at 9. The first, and as it turns out, last interview of such a prolific painter. Right. Can you tell us what it was like when you arrived? You were the first reporter even in Drew Studio? Sorry, ever in Drew Studio? Posterity will look back on that night as a turning point in journalistic history. Basically, the insignificant step for all mankind. But a giant step for that Bruxelles guy, end quote. If no one on the outside ever had access to the studio, then it would serve the reason that the deed was done by the insider. By an insider, sorry. Which means fair, didn't it? Does it? So, how does this approach maker interview go? Would you mind being a little more specific? Oh wee! Let me tell you, I enjoy a cuppa. In fact, it all begins when I was in 3rd grade. No, wait, 4th grade! That's not what I meant! I believe I know what hair forehead is driving that. This coffee the victim was served. Did anyone other than the defendant touch it? Right, that! That's what I was gonna say, really? Well, now, if you got a question to ask, you best straight up ask it. That's what I tell all the new recruits, several times if necessary. Right for a grade schooler. That's my motto. Which isn't to say I can only write grade school level stuff, mind you. Who touched the coffee? No. I was in the back, looking at the studio's equipment when she served it. And what happened next? What's this about a star falling? Stars fall, huh? It's like an old telegram. Send money, over. Sowie! You don't know? That's like a journalist's code word. An important personage passes away. A star falls. Get it? There's no gravity in space, is there? I wouldn't think stars could fall, really. Does that matter? Oh boy! This is good stuff! Good stuff! How about star bricks? Lacks punch. I know! Star dies! Lacks imagination. Of course, you could go with Drew dies, straight to the point. I like it. I think we need to hear about something a little more substantial. About when Mr. Meacham passed away. We'll ask this. Oh boy, what a scene that was. He put his coffee mug down with a crash, right? Yes, and then the cold finger of death touches his spine. Life flame spurts and sputters and fails. So cold was that touch, he couldn't do not but tremble uncontrollably. Actually, Life Flames is a little tired. Life River froze over. Yes, that's a go. I think he started his article already. He described that a little more simply. Well, as you can imagine, I was pretty surprised. He hit the floor, as to say, artist seizure. Here's final performance, end quote. Atrial ring paralyzes the central nervous system. The body arches back like a bow. The life limbs, the throat burns. Not going enough of that! So must want to be able to sleep tonight! Oh yeah! Well, I want details. Lots of juicy details. For that, you can listen to our last year's hit single. Astro Kareem, My Love, by the Gabonese, available on all major music outlets. Point here is that the victim died of Astro Kareem poisoning. Also, Cliver. Remember the last kiss? Yeah, that was 3 months. Did you forget? What was this? How did you find that testimony? Well, as an account of the moment of the victim's death, I say it's very important. Please add it to the testimony. Very well. The court requests that the witness add this account to his testimony. Those Bosons. That was definitely death by poison. You said it was definitely death by poison? Definitely death by poison, sorry? How can you be so sure? Hey, look, I'm a journalist. I see lots of things. I've had more experience with my share of experience with so-called poisonings. And it's fishy fish, goes bye-bye, end quote. Food poisoning doesn't count. Should I get him to talk about something else? You say we'll talk about the coffee. You say Mr. Richmond had the coffee too. But did you actually see him drink the coffee? Of course! He who sees and wins, but he who says the win's bigger, end quote. I live in a man sees dog eat dog and writes about a world. Yet. I guess I can't say I saw him drink it, really. He had one so-called sip. That's it, if that. Man put slip the mug and drinks, end quote. The poison's quite virulent, I hear. My stomach did a so-called somersault. As I gulped down that coffee without so much as a second glance at it. Wait, maybe someone's there. Some kind of so-called trick. Anyone want to venture a guess, for the record? Does that guy have a pause button? Well, Mr. Justice, did you find that testimony valuable? The victim drank his coffee, then immediately fell over. Oh, yes. You can go to press for that one. Your Honor, this is a vital piece of information. Please add it to the testimony. Well, the witness will add this to his testimony. I know, right? Yeah, one sip, that's it. Next moment, he was on the floor. He either took a sip or he didn't, and then fell over. Oh yes, indubitably. Just like that. Wham, bam! Mr. Machine drank the coffee and fell over immediately? I think Purcell's telling the truth too. Should I get him to talk about something else? Well, hold on. There's no real need to change the testimony. The problem with the testimony is all pretty obvious. Can you set it for sure? Sure, I'm sure. Your studio isn't a big place, kiddo. I know it if someone else had come in. What if they had been hiding in there from before? Objection! Even if someone had been hiding in the studio, they hardly could have poisoned that mug without anyone noticing. You think I, Spark Purcell, would miss something as obvious as that? No way. He sure makes us sound exciting. I guess that's his job. In one moment we need to focus on, really. The moment when Drew Machine died. Exactly. There has to be something there. I think I found the statement. Objection! But the wrong app. This clearly reveals a contradiction in that statement, Your Honor. Oh. Objection! I would very much like to keep my points back. Objection! You know what I have a problem with? A particular property of the poison used. Quinine. Oh, Prosecutor Captain was quite clear about the poison. A lethal dose of 0.002 mg. Paralyzes the central nervous system. If you drank that, even you, Mr. Justice, would be reduced to a quivering pile. Why are you using me as an example? Unfortunately, we weren't told everything. There was a vital omission in Prosecutor Gavin's information. Mission? Atrochlorine is a virulent, as he says. But death doesn't come upon ingestion. Not immediately. That's because atrochlorine is slow acting. Slow acting? What? According to one forensic scientist, it's one of the most poisons that is absorbed into the body astonishingly slowly. It takes at least 15 minutes from the time of ingestion for our first facts to show. If we suppose that the moment Mr. Museum slipped the coffee was when his sales was fit, then he would still have time. He would still have had time left to enjoy his last cup of joe. Order! What is the meaning of this? What the defense says is correct? Why, that contradicts the entire testimony we just heard! Well, Mr. Brazil, anything to say? On the record. Slow acting. Slow act. It was virulent, right? And then, it had already been digging in its claws into the journalist. He's working on escape. It's Rochelle, Ja. Hey, Rochelle. Let's take a trip back down memory lane. Huh? Did the victim really die the instant he took the sip? Think it over. This is vital. You know what I think? I think that was a not so subliminal suggestion, end quote. I mean, it does cause a problem if he died when you say he died. I would be forced to say all $1 to my simple kiss. Pretty sure I got that German wrong. The German word wrong. And you'd be forced to say farewell to your article. Come again? You can't write a story based on conjecture, can you? And as the case strikes on, other reporters will pick up the scent. And you'll be forced to kiss your exclusive goodbye. Skip! Look, just wait a second. Just 1 second. We're waiting! Ah, woman! I think I just recalled a so-called important detail. Our vital recollections, end quote. A source survival, end quote. Source survival. Attorney already confused, end quote. Actually, I did notice something when I visited the studio. I heard a point that takes a sweet time, see? But not what I've been saying for the last few minutes, apparently. Roselle, are you saying you noticed something that explains what happened? You bet I am. You ended up for a poisonous contradiction, end quote, you might say. Or, I still have no idea what you're talking about, end quote, I might say. I figured it out, but only after an in-depth interview. Saying thanks to my journalistic skills, I know who poisoned that coffee. Order, order, order! As far as I can tell, the witness is standing by his testimony. That Mr. Machine drank the instant that Mr. Machine died the instant after he drank. Of course I'm standing by my testimony. Our genuine exclusive rights to the story. I suppose it was too much to hope for. What was? Of course he wouldn't choose a simple case. Not him. Him! Being's right. Who else? That's true, Herr Brazil. Report for us if you would. What is it that you noticed? This court is the critical child for the jury system. I'm afraid that no room for doubt is permissible. You won't testify to the court about what you noticed. I percent noticed. When I read this video, Mr. Region was at his desk. He seemed to be writing a letter, but he quickly sealed the envelope. I thought nothing at the time, of course. Now that I think about it, what if he was writing a suicide note? A suicide note? Yes, you have this look on his face. Non-space insert the bow as a quadratic equation, end quote. Suicide? Poor Mr. Mishan. But that means Farrah's innocent. Would someone commit suicide in the middle of an interview? Oh. Oh, you may begin your cross-examination. Was there anyone at the studio other than Mr. Mishan? Well, his daughter. No, Farrah, of course. Was anyone besides Mr. Mishan and Farrah present? Not a single one. Not a cat, not a rat, not even a mouse. The only person who didn't belong to that studio there was you, wasn't it, Mr. Burchell? I know what you're doing. I know that game. Attorney is the classic ram. Alright, I got lost track there. Attorney uses classic Ramston phenomenal ploy, end quote. If you intend to suggest that this reporter is a suspect, I'm sure you also intend to present evidence supporting that assertion, correct? In the meantime, let's move along, shall we? Okay, so he put the letter away when he saw you? Early reporter gets worm, end quote. Okay. That's my secret. I'm not sure I follow. In that interview, I arrived 15 minutes ahead of schedule. The handle's turned, the door opens, and I barged in. You sure that's okay to do? I mean, it's not a lawful entry, even, really? Mr. Meacham sure seemed to think so. You should have seen him. He crammed this letter into that yellow envelope as fast as he could. I know a secret and I spelled one, and that was one. Does seem significant. Now, Mr. Justice? Wonder. It does have a ring or something. Add it to the testimony. The defense finds the testimony found, Your Honor. Very well, please add it to the testimony then. Hey, why not? My account comes free of charge. There's a yellow envelope. I heard it was left as the crime scene. You saw him seal the yellow envelope with the letter? Hey, don't look at me like that. I saw what I saw. Oh, you think this might be our big brick? Yeah. I need to do is show decisive evidence now. Okay. You didn't think anything might be wrong at the time? Alright. Hey, when I go in for an interview, that's what I'm there to do. Interviewer finds looking more effective than caring, end quote. So what about now? Thinking back on it, did you sense anything strange on Mr. Machine's behavior? Well, yeah, that's why I'm telling you all this to begin with. Okay. Alright, well, continue with testimony. A suicide note? Well, yeah. Don't quote me on anything. Or anything. I'm just saying it's a possibility, you know? So you didn't actually check the letter? Of course not. It was sealed. Hunters the hand alone until cannons open, end quote. And you can always check the label. Do you think Mr. Machine was writing a suicide note? If it was, that would solve the case in a jiffy. It kind of makes me wonder about that letter. And this one's a given. It's not a yellow envelope. It's a red envelope! As it just so happens, there was a single letter in a desk drawer at the scene. In a red envelope! What? Husker Gavin! Yes? Was a yellow envelope found at the scene of the crime? Unfortunately, no. But hair forehead. It's easy to mistake the color of an envelope. I guess. But not this envelope. See, it was postmarked already. 7 years ago. Well, Mr. Brazil? I can explain that. You're right. He wanted to give that letter to an envelope. Let's get the letter in an envelope, pronto. Get it out of sight of my beady eyes, right? So you grabbed the nearest envelope and crammed it away. And what about the whole red and yellow envelope contradiction, chump? Oh, Mr. Justice? Have you anything to say about the witness's claim? That night, the victim put the letter he had writing in a red envelope. I'm saving? I'm going to say it's impossible. That's impossible. Ah, I like your expression. So full of confidence. It's simple, really. As it so happens, the defense team investigated the contents of this envelope with the assistance of a forensic scientist. What? Note that this letter is addressed to Drew Mission. Oh? Why would he address a letter to himself? Let alone send a suicide note to himself? I've been screwed! Order! Mr. Purcell! Can you explain this to the court? Oh, my. Heck, had I forgotten? I suppose this happens to the best of us. Report gets old, forgets sluts, end quote. I'm still waiting on an explanation, Mr. Purcell! Well... I was going to say, after he put this letter in the envelope, Mr. Regime sat there searching his desk drawer for something. His desk drawer? Yes, a stamp. So-called postage stamp, end quote. A stamp? What for? Well, to mail this letter. What else? And then, well, yes, I think I saw him put it in this letterbox. Yes, it was a yellow envelope. And he put it in that letterbox. Well, apparently this yellow has nothing to do with this. Yes, oh, how I wish it did. Just think if that were a suicide note. What a story. Star writes suicide note in front of reporter. Fails, end quote. False, end quote, sorry. As I was saying, that has nothing to do with this case. That said, yes, Your Honor. It makes you wonder about the contents of that red envelope. $100,000 is quite a good deal of money. So this was from 7 years ago, ja? So am I finished here? I mean, am I finished here? I was thinking of, going home to start writing. I hate to state what should be pretty obvious to anyone, but when you catch the scent of a story, you make that, rather unique face. Ah, come on! Attorney has active imagination, no else, end quote. Even I know something. My arts aren't what they used to be. No, I'm starting to understand what all this perceiving stuff is about. Which has active imagination, end quote. You continue with your testimony? Tell us about the scent of the story. Hey, I'm the one asking the question here. Usually. The scent of the story. Actually, it took a bit of work to get thumbs up on the interview. The reporter elaborates your story to get its energy, end quote. The story concerned a certain kiss from 7 years ago. Now, Red Envelope probably had something to do with it. So Joe, but Drew's talent was nothing compared. You threatened to go to the press with this story? That's how you got your interview? Blackmail? Yes. I mean, no. It wasn't like a black. I mean, I'm not. Nothing wrong, Mr. Rochelle. Like, this is mandatory. My tidbit. Journalist info is livelihood. End quote. I see. Why are you having Shannon away in here? What's going on out there? Well, some Wally Wordsworth or Sally Scooper gets wind of my story. They could be going to the press while I'm going the waste. The court feels your pain, Mr. Burchell. Mr. Justice, let's pick up the pace. A certain case? 7 years ago? Wait, 7 years ago? We do have a perceivability here. Victim Drew Misham had an aversion to reporters? Boy, I guess. Not even my considerable charms did much for him. Alright, until I finally got my thumbs up, that is. Maybe you could elaborate on not bit for us. Not a bit for us. Exactly what sort of story was this? Oh, little one, like I said. Nothing more, nothing less. Nothing in between, end quote. I might have suggested I had a lead on this particular story. But I didn't threaten or casual or nothing honest. So a suggestion was enough to get an interview? Mr. Measham must have really wanted to keep it under wraps. A certain case? 7 years ago? Tell us, what case? Let me say one thing, Mr. Attorney, and you can quote me on this. I can't talk about that case. Why not? It's about journalistic pride and staunchness and credibility and connections. Journalist reveals source only over his dead body, end quote. So what'll it be? Gonna strangle me? That man tell? Don't tell tales, Mr. Attorney. He sounds pretty determined not to talk. Our chances of breaking his will aren't looking good. On the one hand, we have your story, and on the other, this letter. What makes you think the two are related? Oh, I was just saying it's possible. Call it reporter's intuition, end quote. Hey, I say a lot of things. You're gonna pick all of them apart? Be my guest. All of them? No, just the incredibly suspicious ones. Is there anything else to talk to Mr. Mishim? About Mr. Mishim? Just how amazing was Mr. Mishim's talent? Huh? Ooh-wee, boy, I mean, hey, he's a star, man, a star. The flow was brushes like a great undulating river across the campus. Artist paints lights up, studio like sun, end quote. This guy is full of wacky gestures. But that one just now was wackier than usual. Looks kind of nervous to me, Apollo. Definitely. I'm sensing something different than before here. This time to bring out you-know-what. That testimony left a bad taste in my mouth. It all makes sense. Nothing jumps out as ridiculous. I do now. Hope you're having a good day. I wonder what the story he's talking about is. It must have been good to get an interview with a famous recluse like that. Something powerful enough to drag Drew out of hiding. I wonder. Maybe it has something to do with Mr. Mishim's art. I think I know what we have to perceivability. Let's perceive. Start with the eyes. Hmm. Let's check this pen. Nope. This statement's clean. Maybe it's near Lamir, where the fruit go. Oh yeah, right, because you were doing that too. Your riser deck, wasn't it? Okay. I suppose it's going to go up thing. Ah. I feel it's on this one. Didn't check the neck here. It feels out of the ordinary. Wait. I want to try something.
Objection!
Oh.
Definitely feels something here. I just saw it. For a split second, I saw it.
Gotcha!
Sweat much, Mr. Burchell?
Yeah, well, a man can't help his glands, you know? It's more than that. When Mr. Mishin's talent was mentioned, you suddenly began to sweat buckets. Eh? You're hiding something about his talent. What? That's ridiculous. Evidence time. Show where Mr. Michelle's true talent lay. It just so happens I have evidence showing the talent mentioned in that letter. And I can't help but wonder what the course is supposed to conclude with this evidence. Oh, other than you've made a horrible mistake. And Birch Bridge forgets the cross first, end quote. Try it again.
Oh, wait, no. Oh!
Ark!
That was the real painting! I want my points back.
Gotcha!
Alright.
On the right track's just the wrong
Thing.
This painting was found in Mr. Risham's studio. There are two problems with this painting. The first, that it wasn't painted by Mr. Risham. Second is that there was another painting in the studio, which looked exactly like this one, except it was only half done. Then we have a letter discussing a payment of $100,000, which suggests a certain business operation. The business of making forgeries! Yarr. That is all, Your Honor. Everyone, please! Everyone! Can we keep this private, please? This is my story! My scoop! Forgery! That's a serious crime! Drew Meacham is known as an artist these days. But there were rumors that he dabbed in another kind of art until a few years back. Yeah. Another art? Meaning forgery? I'm telling you're wondering about the forgery, aren't you? Drew Meacham was talented, alright? Talented at making precise, detailed fakes. In fact, that certain criminal elements were quick to discover. Criminal elements? Wait, what? You can't seriously be talking about... Exactly. I'm talking about forging evidence. The rumor started circulating 7 years ago. 7 years ago? So, are we... Oh, okay, got it. So, are we to understand that this letter, this payment of $100,000 was for... Exactly. Forged evidence! Neat, tidy profit. That's tidy profit, end quote. Order! 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 Why, it's like our victim was living a double life! Aha! This is my chance! So the victim had ties to the criminal world, right? He could have plenty of enemies we don't know nothing about!
Objection!
This is my first time hearing of this criminal world. We certainly found no criminal connections when we conducted our investigation.
Objection!
But how do you explain all this money? You have to admit there's a possibility of some illegal activity here.
Objection!
But there is no proof tying this letter to our kiss. Our kiss was and remained simple from the beginning. Only the defendant could have poisoned that mug that night. And you, of course. Hey, hey, hey! The only thing I poison is my pen. When I'm writing reviews. Mr. Rochelle, your testimony at this point has been quite unreliable. It doesn't speak well for your reporting, Ackerman. What are you talking about? My journalistic is rock solid. Journalism is solid, so solid you can stand an elephant on it. End quote. In any case, let's hear a summarized recap of your testimony. If we can assert the situation in that studio from the recap, the trial is over. Hello? What's he talking about? The cross-examination showed that Mr. Rochelle didn't have reason or means to poison him. As long as there are no other suspects, then the killer had to be Farah. That's one. This next testimony is our last chance. Mr. Rochelle, your testimony, please. An interview. A recap. The interview, the recap. The only other person in the studio that night was the defendant. It's Farah who poured the coffee. She made as much herself. The only thing that touched Drew's lips during that interview was that mug. And nothing at that studio after he died. Nothing. Clearly, the only one who could poison him was the staller. A nice testimony. Clear, succinct, and without room for doubt. Aw, shucks. You really think so? I believe this clarifies the situation that night. And Mr. Justice, you may begin your final cross-examination. Right. Still have one trump card left to play. And I won't let this trial end until I use it.
Hold it!
But that doesn't prove Farah poisoned it.
Objection!
How many times have you heard that one hit her forehead? The poison reached the victim via that coffee mug. And from where that coffee come? Where did that coffee come? Not to beat a dead horse again and again, but perhaps you can fill us in. I'm on it. You need a horse beat. I'm your man.
Hold it!
I think they could have maybe phrased that a bit better. I know they're using the phrase "don't" and not to beat a dead horse, but you know what I mean. I think I got that phrase wrong myself. And you witnessed her pouring the coffee? Of course I did. Said when she came in with that tray, the coffee was already poured and steaming. Let's not forget the defendant has admitted to pouring the coffee herself. I heard her statement. I poured, I served, and I killed. What? That last part was just a little joke. I don't think I'm going to get anywhere with this coffee mug. I need to find another weak spot in this case.
Hold it!
You sure about that? Well, to be precise, to be really precise, I was busy gobbling mint candies the whole time. One of those candies might have been poisoned.
Objection!
Yet at the time of the autopsy, no fresh fragments of mint fell through the ring. And no mint residual was sprang. It was a long shot anyway. Don't tell me you're still trying to prove this. You think the victim ate, drank, or otherwise ingested something other than coffee? Well, Mr. Justice, if you have some proof, the possibility is there. I can feel it. Just maybe not prove it. Not yet. A possibility isn't going to cut it. Not now. Oh, we can actually this. This arrangement ingests the poison via a route other than a coffee. I'm actually going to risk the shot. Proof is possible. I gotta risk it. Oh, excellent! Let's see your proof then. Please show us your evidence. The evidence shows that the victim wasn't poisoned via the coffee mill.
Take that!
Oops. Must I explain this over and over? And over? We don't need possibilities here, head for head. We need proof. I know that. You should also know that every proof has its moments. Perhaps you're a bit early. I can tell you what we know at this point. The victim put nothing in his mug, but that coffee. Another hole in this case that needs plugging before I can prove anything. First thing first, better uncover a weak spot before I try to strike again. On the cross-examination.
Hold it!
I was right. It's here. Not one thing, you sure? Yep, I sure can be. Well, with one exception. One exception? One! Journalist Sprax Burchell does interview. Leads to do, end quote. Come on. It's a joke, get it? Not funny, no, but still. Did something leave that studio tonight? Why does that sound familiar? Where have I heard something like that before? I get it now. Oh, we've proven our witness is going to be of sorts. I like to turn to our defense attorney before returning to the testimony. You have any idea what, if anything, might have left the studio that night? I think one thing very well might have left the studio that night, actually. A certain something has vanished from the crime scene. What do you mean? Something other than our witness. Of course. Don't tell me. Bear Mishim. Believe me, any comic relief I may provide is entirely unintentional. Then let's see what you've got for us, Mr. Justice. Well, this thing wasn't at the scene of the crime, so I can't show it to you. I do have evidence that shows that it could have been taken from the scene.
Take that!
This is the only link between the studio and the outside world. A letterbox? What did Mr. Burchell just tell us? When he entered the studio on the night of the murder, the victim had just finished writing the letter. Yeah, I said that, and yeah, it is true. It was true. Furthermore, you went on to tell us that he put a letter in a yellow envelope and put it in the letterbox. Oh! But that very same letterbox was empty. In other words, that night, the yellow envelope disappeared.
Objection!
Ah, yes, intriguing. So an envelope has disappeared from the scene of the crime. Of course, this changes nothing. Huh? He has a point, Mr. Justice. What we're trying to figure out here is how the poison got into Mr. Machine. Is it really important that this envelope the witness said he saw it disappears? Well, if it did disappear, then something did leak the studio that night. That seems very important to me. Very well then, the witness will add this to his testimony. You got it. I still think this fails to change anything, Cat Forehead. I wouldn't be so sure. Allowed to disappear from the crime scene that night. This is exactly the opening I've been looking for. A letter was put in the postman studio, but I hardly think that matters.
Hold it!
Nothing could be more serious than an envelope disappearing from that studio. Are you? And you were hiding that fact from us. Yes. Well, actually, I didn't argue the possibility from that letter disappear from that studio. But here, Forehead. Isn't there a much more serious question before us? Right, how the Mr. Richard was poisoned, I know. But Mr. Richard's testimony has changed, which means the facts of this case have too. And what he told us means something entirely different now. I'm starting to think. Let's keep thinking, Apollo.
Hold it!
You said clearly, as though it was obvious. Or sorry. But this claim that the defendant poisoned the victim is merely conjecture. Well, yes, well, you see. In my business, it's all about making the most ridiculous thing sound right. A bad habit, you know. Yes, well, actually, I guess it's more a case of ridiculous journalist sounds wrong, end quote. The court is forced to agree with you. Please refrain from wild conjecture. Understood, line clear. If only I could believe that. What do you think, Apollo? Everything he's saying seems so not flawed. Well, that's kind of what you get one from a testimony, really. I need to keep my eye on what matters. I and why was Drew Machine killed? Their report of coffee, that's not going to change. But if that coffee didn't kill him, I need to find what did. And prove it. Now this part's changed. They did go a little too early.
Hold it! Objection!
Alright. Reverse here was nothing. Oh, no, this is earlier. You do understand what we need, yeah? Proof, head or forehead, not possibilities. Of course, and Professor Gavin, I hope you understand. I'm ready to give you that proof. What did you say? I have proof that of the disappearing envelope. I saw him writing the letter, I did. Which was picked up by the mailman, I presume? Of course, which means that envelope had a stamp on it. A stamp? Oh! As we all know, stamps come with dried glue in the back. In order to use the glue, you have to... Oh, because I did it so soon, it already counted it. Yeah, what? By licking the stamp. There. Not one worth talking to actually licks in this day and age.
Objection!
Even if you wanted to talk to him, you couldn't. He's dead after all.
Objection!
Okay, so he licked the stamp. But wait. How does that explain the actual cream on the rim of the coffee cup?
Objection!
If he licked the back of a poisoned stamp, the poison would touch his tongue, yes? What would then happen if he put the mug to his mouth?
Those traces on the mug weren't the killer's doing. It was the other way around.
What?
The coffee mug didn't poison Mr. Machine. Mr. Machine poisoned the coffee mug himself!
Order! But that doesn't... does it?
Recall, if you would, atrochlorine is a slow-acting poison, yes? The poison entered his body when he put the stamp on that envelope. But his time wasn't up until the very moment he touched his lips on that cup of joe. The script being flipped.
You have something there, Mr. Burchell?
Uh-oh. His nose is picking up another scent. As I believe I mentioned earlier. Well, that's the thing, see? After he put his letter in that envelope, Mr. Burchell sat there searching his desk drawer for something. Yes, a stamp! A so-called postage stamp, end quote. But you know, I don't seem to remember him ever finding one.
Maybe he just run out.
Incidentally, he searched the desk drawer at the scene of the crime. There were no stamps. Not a single one.
That does pose a problem. How would you prove that the stamp was coated with poison?
Actually, I'm glad no other stamps were found. It makes proving the stamp he used was poisoned impossible. Good show. You can't even prove there was a stamp at the scene in the first place.
Well, let's hear what the defense has to say anyway. Where's your evidence that proves this is the poison stamp?
Nah, we can prove it.
Well, that certainly is a cute little frame. And by little, I mean really little.
It was on the victim's desk, Your Honor. Quite empty, as you can see for yourself. I noticed that during my inspection. So what? Ah, apparently you weren't so observant as you should have been. You see, when you saw this frame, it was missing something quite important.
Missing something?
Yes, a pale bluish stain on the inside of the frame. Visual. What? Why wasn't I told about this? The frame was only 2 inches square. The face of the frame is even smaller. Maybe an inch wide at most. You aren't saying... Oh, but I am. Tell me, what fits in such a small frame? A commemorative stamp, perhaps.
Order! The poison stamp was in this frame.
Impossible.
Prosecutor Gavin?
Why would he put something like that on his desk? Don't tell me he had it there, so he could commit suicide if the mood struck. You know, can I say something? I had a thought, see?
What, Mr. Purcell? Please, stop jittering around like that.
The victim was a forger, right? There's a lot of money in that line of work. 14 forgers' friends makes enemies too, end quote. So the poison stamp might have been a murder weapon aimed at him?
Objection!
Oh, Rich. That's Rich. He didn't even know how to do the slam afterward. It was just, Lead the ridiculous flights. The fancy to the Gamineer song lyrics, please. Finally, something we agree on. The stamp was a murder weapon? Nonsense. Murder, it's a simple business. Who would go to such lengths? No one. Oh, I disagree. Come again? Recall, if you would, the victim's reclusive lifestyle. During mission hid from the world, he avoided meetings. His only contact with the outside world was the meal.
Meal?
Aye, if you want to kill someone you could meet, but you knew read letters, a stamp would be the perfect weapon. Ridiculous! Where's your proof? I want proof! Show us evidence that this poison stamp was sent to him as a murder weapon. I'm saving. You might not have evidence, per se, but things are finally starting to come together. What is it, Apollo? Your fists are trembling. I think I know what happened. I don't believe it, but I see it. I think I know how Mr. Mishin was killed.
Well, fill us in, Mr. Justice.
A certain piece of evidence points to the truth, Your Honor. I can show how someone... Okay. I can show you how someone with the intent to kill was sent Mr. Mishin the stamp of death. I'm gonna try this.
Isn't that the envelope? The one from 7 years ago?
Think about the text of the letter again. There were two pages in the envelope. This is page 1. And this is page 2. I want to draw your attention to one phrase in particular. Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp within 3 days. The enclosed stamp, Your Honor.
Oh!
In other words, I'm half the straight. The stamp poisoned on the stamp, lick, lick, gasp! End quote. Now, what if he had done exactly as the letter asked? He would sign the document, put it in the envelope, and put the stamp on it, right? Then he would put it in his letterbox. 15 minutes wouldn't have eclipsed between affixing the stamp and mailing the letter. But the clock started ticking when this time came. When the time came, he drew his last breath. And the murder weapon would be taken away from the scene.
Quite conveniently! Thanks to the postal system!
Such a splendid imagination you have. Head forehead. Let me confirm one thing with you, if I may. So, this poison stamp was inside this envelope from 7 years ago, yeah? Is that what you have us believe, really? Well, it's a little bit of a stretch, but there's a possibility. Yes, a very small possibility. How small, I wonder? A poison stamp in this envelope? A stamp that then became the murder weapon? How do you intend to prove that seeming coincidence? Well, it was 7 years ago, and we don't even know who sent that letter. And your answer is silence. I see. Very well, I move to... It is not nice to pick on the Fulnir, Cliver.
Emma!
Well, like my Christoph Gavin impression? Did I sound like him? Don't quit your day job. Don't you have a crime scene to be looking after, frontline detective? Someone had to come. Yeah, someone had to come dig you out of the mess you're making of this case. Mess? You know, none of this would happen if you just trusted in science a little more. You can find out that... You can find out if that stamp was in that envelope. Easy. Care to explain yourself, one-name detective? Blare me all you want, but science is on my side. It's all in the ritual, see, right? That's right! The poison detection spray!
the red envelope at once. You can open it on the authority of the court.
Hello.
Oh, would you look at that?
No mistaking it. That's actual residual. Looks like I was on the balls on the mark.
I don't believe it! A murder weapon from the past? Now, 7 years later, it bears its fangs at last.
Objection!
Absolutely outrageous! Tell me why. Why didn't this murder take place 7 years ago? Well, there's one possibility. Maybe Mr. Machine figured it out.
Figured what out?
He realized that the person who sent that letter wanted him dead. So he sent this reply with a different stamp.
Put his decisive evidence in the frame.
Hold it!
You're still here?
Can I make a statement here, on the record? I, Spark Bridges State Bristle, claim this scoop is mine! Drew Agent killed in cold blood. I sent her a 7-year-old letter. End quote. No, maybe something more. Listen. Sorry for after 7-year delay. End quote.
Order! No room for further argument here. Well, I admit, this is all coming as quite a shock. To think that the murder weapon reached his mouth after 7 years. Step its ticket straight to hell, straight to afterlife. End quote.
Uh-oh. I think the witness is a bad influence on our judge.
I see no need to further debate on this matter. The sender of that letter 7 years ago could hardly have been our defendant.
Paulo! I think we just won.
Very well. This court finds the defendant.
Objection!
Is this the bright future of our legal system?
Prosecutor Gavin?
A ticket to the afterlife from 7 years ago? Tickets for Gavin shows are invalid after 2 weeks.
But it doesn't make sense any other way.
It boggles my mind that so many people have noticed this. There's a fatal contradiction with Head for his claim. Also, remember, this is the jury trial, not the old style, not the trial we've been used to. Contradiction? A poison stamp was placed in this envelope 7 years ago, whereupon it was framed until now. If that's the case, then why would Dream Museum have done what he did? Emma explained that. He must have realized it was poisoned. Therein lies the rub. 7 years ago, the forger Dream Museum sensed a trap and put the stamp in a frame. I do not debate this, but this begs the question. Why, 7 years later, did he use a stamp on the night of the murder? Surely, you don't mean to suggest that Mr. Mushim simply forgot? He put the murder weapon in a frame on his desk for 7 years and forgot? You expect us to believe he sprang the trap on himself? He does have a point.
Well, I admit, this is all quite shocking myself. It does seem highly unlikely that he would fall afoul of a trap that had to be sitting on his desk for 7 years.
Apollo! I don't think we're winning anymore. I'm glad to see we're all back in the real world now. Welcome back to reality! We've been waiting for you.
Objection!
Okay. Then how do you explain the poison stamp that was in this envelope? Poison stamp? Where exactly is this poison stamp again? Have you brought it to the court for us? Yeah. I said, it's an argument. Might as well see it. I see no proof that such a thing ever existed.
Objection!
What about the aquamarine residual, huh? Oh, I agree. That does seem to be aquamarine residual. But head forehead, it's certainly no stamp. Only we had an envelope! Yeah, but even if your precious poison stamp did assist, your mission would never would have used it. That is all.
We've come to a conclusion. Again!
Apollo! Were we wrong the whole time? Can't believe it! The poison traces match up. It can't be a coincidence.
I'd like to bring some closure to this issue. Sometime this year. Mr. Justice?
Yes, Your Honor?
Let's review the facts and see where we stand. 10 years ago, Joe Mission received a red envelope. There were traces of poison aquamarine on the document inside that envelope. A similar trace was also found at the crime scene. On this tiny picture frame, the defense has indicated the possibility of a yellow envelope. An envelope that left the scene of the crime with the poison stamp on it.
Yes, but even if this envelope contained the poison stamp, Attorney Trilogy, knowing this, put it in a frame, he never would have used that stamp.
I'm afraid you're right. Which means there was a fatal flaw in the defense's case.
I haven't been on the wrong track this whole time, I'm sure of it. The traces of aquamarine, the envelope, the frame, and True Mission's mysterious death. They're all connected somehow.
Now, Mr. Justice, do you have a conclusion for us?
The defense stands by its case, Your Honor. We've seen that the logical outcome of the evidence makes no sense, which means that one of our clues must be a fake. Ah, fake clue. Fascinating. And if you ever find this fake, your wild fancies will prove quite reasonable, yeah? The fake clue that throws us off the poison trail is none other than a frame.
This frame is the fake clue?
Without a doubt, Your Honor.
Objection!
Wasn't it you who presented this evidence to the court? Oh. Hold on a second, Apollo. The poison on the envelope, that frame, and the coffee mug. They're all connected somehow. Oh, right. Here already. Looks like the fake was you had, forehead. We can fuck ourselves later, Apollo. Nice time for thinking.
The victim was the fake clue? I'm afraid I don't understand.
I'll explain. We have an envelope, a frame, and a mug, linked by poison. All this makes sense. What doesn't make sense is the victim himself.
Objection!
Congratulations, you completely lost me. So the fake evidence is none other than the master of fake himself, the forger? It makes a good story, I'll give you that. The fake clue, fakes, forgery. Ah! I know that face! That's the I just had an idea face! I don't know if I'm right, but I'm going with it anyway. What if our forger is the fake? Come again. 7 years ago, our forger sniffed a trap and stepped aside. 7 years passed. Now the forger stumbled into that fire scene trap and dies? Why?
That's what I want to know.
Because the forger was killed. Forger who was killed was a fake. Here we go again. The victim was a fake. One forger smelled the trap, One forger fell into the trap. That's 2 forgers! And one of them was a fake.
Order, order, order!
So you're telling us that True Mission, the victim, was a fake? Well, if he was the fake, he was the real forger. You better not be claiming and there was some kind of switcheroo.
I'm afraid you're going to have to back up your story. It's just this. Show us just who the real True Mission was.
A True Mission wasn't the real forger. There's only one other person who could be. Given. Understood, Your Honor. Forger True Mission was himself a forger. The real forger was this Farah Mission. There can only be one explanation, really. Only one explanation, really. The real identity of the forger, known as True Mission, is none other than its own daughter, Farah Mission.
Order, order, order! Mr. Justice! This is going down a limb! Even for you!
I can't agree. I mean, Farah, a forger? Let's consider it before you write off entirely. If you look at the paintings in the studio, one fact becomes quite clear. Forgery had been taking place in that studio for quite some time. The forger wasn't caught in that trap for 7 years ago. That could only mean that the one who was caught in the trap wasn't the forger.
Well, actually, that does make a certain kind of sense.
One more thing. Only 2 sets of fingerprints were found in the forger studios. True Mission's and Farah Mission's. If you know the True Mission wasn't the forger, that leaves only one possibility. By process of elimination. The forger was Farah Mission. Well, fascinating.
Alright, Mission? You've been paying attention to the trial so far?
Let's just ask her and be done with it, shall we? Who are you? Who is the forger, True Mission? What's that? An expression of emotion I saw on her face? She's staring the holes into Prosecutor Gavin's face. I'm used to being stared at the Von Lanes, believe me. Though they usually talk to me too. Fellas, were you the one who forged these works of art? Yes.
So the forger True Mission was you?
Yes, it was me.
What?
The court was in an uproar and wasn't coming down. We had to take we had to break for a 10-minute recess. Oh, we got time this time. We can actually do the second part. Pick up on it if we could. So let's just move on. October 8th, 1:24 p.m. District Court, defend lobby number 6. Oh, it's because this is the finale. I think certain parts are going to link together, so we'll keep them together. Okay. So where exactly does this leave us, Apollo? Well, the True Mission who was killed wasn't True Mission the forger, basically. Huh? Well then, who was he? Well, he was actually doing her nails. So, you remade those forgeries? Yes. For father. I know it was wrong. Could you tell us how it happened? My father was a painter. I loved painting ever since I was a child. One day, father saw it in me. He saw that I had the talent. The talent? For making forgeries? How should I say it? It was not only paintings I made. Given the materials, I could make anything. Anything? Father was so proud, and I so happy. But in the end, I was making those forgeries. I never had a good constituent nor personality. I knew very little of the world outside my door. Because of me, father is... Do you know about this red envelope? I remember that envelope. It was some time ago. So you were already, creating your works back then? I started when I was only 12 years old. So the one who figured out the stamp was poisoned, that was... Mr. Justice, it's time. To the courtroom, please. Right. Out of time. Hey, Farah! Just one thing, please. Those 3 paintings in the studio. I painted those as part of my work. Right. See, we checked them out when we saw them, and we saw what was underneath. We saw the rough sketches underneath the 3 finished paintings. I see. Mr. Justice? Yes? Father, he knew of you. Of both of you. Your late father? He was watching, gathering information. All about the right and cool law of us. But lately, we've done nothing. We're not doing just laws, are? Yes. You do tricks, gags to amuse, and play piano. The piano part's a stretch, but sure. Lots of cases tend to actually do that. Well, they're not really gags. Yet when father heard you had resumed the legal business, how pleased he was. Who was Mr. Measham? How am I supposed to know? What if he's Daddy's daddy? Judging from the relative ages involved, I say it's highly unlikely. Things are already confusing enough with all these daddies running around. We know that the victim's daughter, Farah, was the forger. What does this mean for the case? Guess we're about to find out. October 8th, 1:36 p.m. District Court, Corbin number 3.
Court is now back in session.
Farah seems pretty tense. He's practically chewing her fingernails clean off. Perhaps you could begin by telling us how it all worked. How did you set up this Dream Machine Forger persona? There's that stir again. She's drilling more holes into his head. I know it's hard for you, but hey, he's a handsome guy. What's hard?
Very well, miss. If you would. Did you really make those detestable forgeries?
Perhaps you rather answer my question? Were you the one who painted that painting? The remarkably similar one? Yes. I painted it, yes. Father praised me quite highly for it.
So, she was the one who made the forgeries?
Yet, she did not wish to reveal the truth of their operation. So the victim was a stand-in, a decoy. For the world at large, he was the forger, not her. I've done a bad thing. I have, haven't I? Regardless, we need a little more information. About, for instance, this. You have seen this before, Ja? Yes. It was in the desk drawer.
Very well, you may proceed with your testimony. Tell us everything you know about this envelope.
The envelope. I created things and Father sold them. This envelope came after my first work. That was other than painting. Father handed the date. All of it. I received this stamp that was in that envelope. It was after a job that we moved to the current studio.
There certainly was much of great interest in your testimony.
Not that the witness realized it.
Very well, please begin your cross-examination.
Right, okay. I need more information about this forger. This true mission. So these things you were making, you mean paintings identical to other paintings, right? The closer they were, the happier Father was. I was happy too.
No, you're quite young now. When did you begin this work?
My first painting sold when I was 12. Your Honor? She had no idea what she was doing. It was illegal.
Objection!
Easy there, little attorney. You're not here to defend her for the crime of forgery.
True. Please tell us more about this envelope. This envelope that may very well have killed your father.
Alright.
Hold it!
By other than the painting, you mean you only done paintings up to that point? Yes. The Father had a realization. He noticed my talent and extended to making things other than paintings. For instance, a letter someone had written, or a fingerprint left upon a cup, or a signature on a document, a seal upon a letter. None of this makes her sound very innocent at all! And that $100,000 promised in this letter was the start. The beginning of a new industry for True Mission.
A new industry?
The creation of items to be used in criminal proceedings. Forging evidence, in other words. Uh-oh. So, you didn't know how the things you were making were being used? I enjoy painting very much. I think I understand. From Lin has lived in an unusual little world. Can you tell us what happened to the papers that were in this envelope? Father signed them and sent them back, I believe. Did he follow the instructions? Send in the enclosed envelope with the enclosed stamp.
This is a rather important matter. Give your answer some thought.
Hold it!
What do you mean you received it? Did I do something wrong? You didn't use that stamp because it was dangerous, correct? Deadly poison on the back! At your Corinne.
Objection!
A moment to their forehead. You can't force an answer upon the witness. And then, perhaps, you would tell us, from Lynn Vera, why did you receive this stamp?
Is something wrong?
It was beautiful.
Ah, you mean it was one of those commemorative stamps?
Yes, I think it was. So, you didn't know about the poison? I guess not. So the chop failed by chance. By mistake. Thanks to this commemorative stamp.
Quite the close call.
Hold it!
You mean you moved to where the current Drew Studio is? Yes, we saw very few people there. I began drawing picture books. This single job had tied them into the criminal underworld. I think Mr. Meacham wished to produce their visibility in the world by law at large. And we had to meet someone for some reason. Father posed as the creator of the work, so that the real essence of the artist Drew Meacham. You did the work, and he supplied the face.
So, you really didn't know anything, did you? You had no idea how much danger you were in.
Apparently not. About this commemorative stamp, could you tell us more about it? It was very pretty. More than none. Yes. It was a picture of people I liked at the time. This is something new. Apparently, we've got some cross-examination yet ahead of us. If you people are so kind as to continue your testimony from Lynn. Now, new testimony. This stamp was a picture of my favorite magicians, so I kept it.
Hold it!
Magicians? I love mysterious things. I always have. Even though she fainted when she saw Mr. Hat. You're confusing mysterious with freaky. Father took me when I was very young. It was a great magic show. I loved it so much. See? See? Isn't magic great? Fine. Great. Yeah, sure. No need to get all excited. But the magic troupe we saw disbanded soon after. I was quite sad. Did she just say what I think she said? Magic troupe? I where have I heard that before? The red envelope came after she completed her first job. That makes it a letter from her client. Whoever wanted the forgery made. Hello? Close. You just have to piece together the parts. A deadly weapon in a red envelope. And the path it took to take Drew Meacham's life. Well, I think I know what we need to do. Now, where have we heard things before? Maybe a magician we have seen in the last 2 episodes? Sort of. Those magicians you like. Was it this bunch? Apollo! They're not a bunch!
I see. So I have to wonder. Why include the commemorable stuff like that in a business letter?
Good question. Well, pretty stamps are always better. You can't beat trippy grammar.
But the whole murder plan was a failure because of it. Ironic, don't you think? Prosecutor Gavin?
Oh. Lyra looks interesting.
Prosecutor Gavin?
Grammary? What's with Gavin? Might I ask just one question of this witness?
In your testimony just now, you stated
This was your first work that was other than a painting. Please tell me, what exactly did you make? And I asked why. No! Answer the question! No! He's almost lost all his hinges. He's got a few left, but almost losing them all.
Prosecutor Gavin! You're usually not the one who something concerns me!
Hey! Yes, it is becoming of me. I apologize. But I must know. Please, Miss Mishin, tell me. It was a book. A single page in a book. A book? Please be more specific. It was a handwritten book. Like a diary.
No! I don't know!
I think it's not less of he knows something rather than something just came out. Something has just struck him. What's wrong with Prosecutor Gavin? He looks like he just saw a ghost. Miss Mishim, this book. Was there a picture of a silk hat on the back cover? Yes or no? How did you know?
Objection!
Prosecutor Gavin! The defendant is answering all your questions. Stop badgering her! He told you nothing, has he? Your soiled Sully's mentor? Nothing? Sully? Who? Phoenix Wright. Who else? Daddy? He never told you about the trial 7 years ago. About how he came to lose his attorney's badge. It was a certain piece of evidence that decided his fate, you know. A certain diary. On the back, it bore the mark of a silk hat. What? Phoenix Wright? Tossed out of the profession by false evidence? And the forger who made that evidence? Is this girl standing right in front of me? Farah, you must tell us. The evidence you made was used in a trial 7 years ago. Who asked Drew Meacham, you, to force that evidence? For all our sakes, who was it? We only met once. You met the client? Well, who was it? It was... What's going on with Farah? She's staring at Prosecutor Gavin's face again. Yes, what? Is there something about me? I remember clearly. I remember who gave me the book. diary. Who was it? Farah? That. Oh. Defended Farah mission. Condition unconscious. Examiner diagnostic acute aquamarine poisoning. This ends the recording of the trial for the murder of Drew Mission. Farah Mission was, during the trial, poisoned by an unknown assailant. The dosage was just under the lethal amount, sparing the defendant's life. She is currently in intensive care and is not to be disturbed for any reason. Yep. A very simple case at first glance. Until finally begins to show its true colors. The long road to the truth takes us to the board of another trial. In some ways, that was the starting point of it all. And that is where we must go. To find the whole truth. Yeah, I think that's where we're going to end because, again, I'm pretty sure the next ones are going to be long, so worth the... But we will wrap... Oh, 7 years ago. We are going to wrap it up here. So hope you guys hope it's a week, and next weekend we'll be back on this Monday, where we'll be going to the trial 7 years ago. Phoenix Wright's final trial. So yeah, we'll pack this up. We'll keep this up. I'll keep going Monday, and that would be it, I guess. Yeah. So that'll be. I'll see you next time. Bye.